Okay, let's do the hidden pupil thing that I talked about last week. And that's the ability to have a pupil or eyeball appear to like go behind the eye and not sort of float across the face. So I made a really simple cyclops, which is here. It's just not visible. First way to make the layers visible, of course, I've got face, eye, pupil, and lid, is to click on the eyeballs to make it visible. And you can see in the node view that that becomes visible. The other way of doing it too is to simply select that in the node view and hit the letter A on the keyboard, and that enables it, makes it able or visible. Do the same thing as a pupil, press the letter A. Um, then I'll pick the lids and I'll just go back to this version, which is enable layer. Let's not look at this right now. This is going to make sense in a minute. Right now, it's just like this big purple billboard over top of the Cyclops face. So there we go. There's the setup. There's the eye, and right now we know the pupil, the artwork as we move it around, is our ideal is to go behind that, but it isn't right now. So at least this way we know we have this piece of artwork. It exists. It's ready to go. And in the node view, you'll notice I have a color override, color override, and a cutter. I got those from the node library by clicking over here in the timeline to the node library view and going to favorites. When I'm on favorites, I'm going to grab color override and drag it up into the library and pick cutter and drag it up to the library as well. Okay, and there you go. I've already got them here, so at least you see where they came from. Now, the big trick is going to be getting these all to connect in a way that makes sense. So let's do one really important step first. And let's go back to the timeline. Select all these layers. I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to select all of these layers. Ta-dam, ta-dam, ta-dam. And I'm going to peg them. Okay? And just go right here, add peg. And because I've selected them and they're all named, when I add peg, it's going to automatically name and add the pegs. So once again, I've got this little clump of pegs here that I could spread out if I wanted to, or I can just simply select all of this and go here, create node view down. If you don't have this menu bar in front of you, you have to go to Windows, Toolbars, and make sure you have node view selected. Okay, and I'm going to go here. Don't worry about these numbers, just go OK. And that gives me the elements that I need kind of in a nice little tree order. I don't know, some things kind of got mushed up here a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I've got a peg for the pupil. Let's just make this really clear. I have a peg for the lid, a peg for the pupil, and I have a peg for the eye, which I really don't need that much because that can exist kind of on its own. Okay, and also display. That's just part of what brings the composite view to the screen. We're not going to worry about that right now. So I have the pegs. Now here's where we get really specific. The lid, I'm going to make sure that I have transform pivot point set. Right now it's below that. I'm going to move that up so it's at the bottom. The pupil, I want that pupil to be right in the middle of the pupil. Okay, because if we want that to zip around, we want to be able to squash that directly into itself. The eye itself, I'm just going to put that in the middle. It's not going to move anywhere yet, although we could if we wanted to. But just for the hell of it, let's just put that in the middle. Okay, and the face, I'm going to put that at the bottom. It doesn't really matter because Oh, the peg, yes it does. I'm sorry, I'm going to put that there. Here's the major point though in all of this, is that, yeah, that's going to rotate the face all right. Okay, I'm going to make sure that auto key is off. That will rotate the face all right, but the eye and all that sails with it won't travel together. So I'm going to go back to the node library. I'm going to pick a peg, which is over here, peg, drag it up, put it on top, and it's just called peg. Useless, because in the multiple faceted character, peg is you're going to have a number of them. So let's just name that. I'm going to call this head underscore peg. Okay, and close that. And now everybody is going to connect to the head peg. And let's make sure we have, oh, there we go. So now the head peg, I want to be sure that the pivot point on the head peg is at the base, because it's really going to rotate from the base. Oh, I just grabbed it by one of the control points, which is a bad way to move the pivot around. You have to move the pivot by grabbing it right at the bottom. So close enough. When I then deselect, I'm going to go back to timeline mode and pick that master peg. Great. Okay, let's get into some real funky stuff now. I want the pupil to disappear. So I'm just going to shift all my focus on the pupil and the eye. Those are the two things that count here. All right, I've got the setup done, and now I'm going to do the crazy work. Watch the next video, and we'll see how that's done. Okay? Thanks.